What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mark my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really hired for Mr. Stark?
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I'm your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter. You can find me at Blue Sky and also Blue Sky and News Nerds Need and all of that on Blue Sky and Twitter. Man, that was jumbled. Roddykat, Blue Sky, Twitter, News Nerds Need, Blue Sky, Twitter, CB Caps, Instagram, go!
South Carolina with Columbia down the way.
And the sound effects you've heard come from none other than our man in Brooklyn, one agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads.
What's up, everybody? Co-hosting from the Borough of Kings, live and direct, coming at you almost at our regularly scheduled time-ish on Thursday.
Right here, big. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Yeah, if we do record on a Thursday, and that is most of the time, it is a roll of the dice as to when we actually start because we're too busy talking about stuff,
Talking, complaining.
yap, and yes, that and complaining as well. So which some of which I'm sure you will be able to hear during the course of this show. But going further, you can find this here podcast on the Cold Slither Podcast Network. That's CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network SoundCloud page.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show.
Indeed. And now I feel kind of self-conscious. I need to check YouTube real quick, which probably don't need to really worry about too much.
We're up and running. I can see it.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that, chat wasn't doing the thing that it did that other time. So
Understood.
That kind of had me bothered since then.
Sure,
but we're good.
Sure. Our chat is right now empty. We could use your contributions, friends in the audience.
Yeah, I'm sure if they're not busy, they'll pop in as they do with their usual aplomb. But until such time, hey folks, we are going to get started with the books of the week, starting off with crap. Screw it, whatever. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 15.
All right, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 15, published by IDW, is written by Jean Luen Yang, with art by Freddie E. Williams II, with colors by Andrew Dahlhaus. My God, my credits are filled with typos. I am not typing very well today. And letters are by Sean Lee. So, revelations, believe it or not, in this issue. Revelations that the Turtles are struggling with. And a big reveal at the end of the issue regarding these revelations, regarding the identity of someone who they've been dealing with and what that someone's goals actually are. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Roddykat because, for goodness sake, if you could spoil something and really, hit someone in the knees, who's trying to read this book or they haven't picked it up yet this week, guess what? This is not the issue to do it with. We're not going to try to actively spoil this particular issue.
Oh, no, and I don't actively try to spoil any issues, but...
No, but I'm just saying, we're definitely not gonna. I'm saying, I'm saying that this is something you want to read and see what happens.
Right, but he is right about that. And actually, which brings up a point, because I am so glad they didn't really draw the revelation that we get here, because I had been saying the last couple of issues, like, all right, people are picking up the pieces of this, of what's going on here, and it's and if you're watching the video version, you can see the cover, which may or may not have anything to do with that, but it also, it is I guess if you didn't read the last issue, it does kind of spoil a thing for you that happens, especially if you are a lengthy time reader of the Turtles, put it this way.
Right.
Or at the very least, the last volume that was before this one, of which 70 and I are not. So,
Right. Oh yeah. Like, we hadn't read the previous volume, like that led into the Jason Aaron run. So, we kind of use that as a jumping on point, which is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's a great thing to provide a jumping on point. IDW has done a good job with, kind of reinvigorating the Turtles line.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to add, whatever thought that I interrupted, I wanted to add that this is in fact one of the things that Roddykat makes a point of mentioning. The events depicted on this cover do indeed happen during the issue.
Yes, that is true. That is in fact true. But yes, 8-70 pretty much said most of it. There's a revelations, a couple of explanations, and in true Turtles fashion, a couple of arguments. But that's par for the course when it, especially at this point in time, if you've been keeping up with this volume of the book. So motivations and everything, like Agent 70 said, kind of have been explained, and now we are going from here. Which, given what one turtle ends up finding out near the end of the book, may not have wanted to know certain things about what's going on, which will definitely be explored next issue. So, but yeah, and there was also an introduction to, as I assume, a brand new character, because I'm not going to sit here and say that I know all of the Turtles' adversaries or whatnot, but I believe I saw an article that the person that was introduced in this book is a brand new character, I believe, just like another brand new character from this that was introduced in this volume. So, we shall see if that is the case, but things continue to be afoot.
Oh no!
Yes, let's gotta get one of those in every now and then. So check it off. So that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 15. I don't think there is anything else to mention about that. Yeah, that's it. I was about to say. The only other thing I will slightly spoil is that, you know what, in true Turtles fashion, Mikey pulls a Mikey, as per said in this issue. And if you know what Mikey likes to do with their cuisine of choice, you know what I'm talking about. Just messing up a good pie, man, I tell you. Anyway, we are going to go to the next book that we have in common, which is Transformers number 29.
Transformers number 29, published by Image, is written by Robert Kirkman with art by Dan Mora. Colors on this book are by Sarah Stern and letters are by Russ Wooten. What is there to say about this issue? It's a slobberknocker. It's a quote good old JR. It is literally a slobberknocker. There's a lot of stuff going on in very classic form. A particular side has to retreat. Why? Because there's something going on with their illustrious leader. And there's a big reveal, cliffhanger reveal at the end, which may lead us into a reckoning with the other side of the war of the Transformers. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Roddykat for his thoughts.
So, first of all, just like with the last G.I. Joe, I had to read this issue and the last issue back to back. Because whatever stopped me from reading the last issue of Transformers did that. So what happened at the end of that book made me go like, really? We're still doing this? All right. But are we really surprised about this with who's writing this book? You know, if you know Kirkman and you know his propensity to put characters in a certain state.
Oh, you said people gonna die?
Yes.
Now I gotta remember to get that sound clip.
So another one happened last issue. So, you know, slight spoiler for that one, which brings us into this book. And as Agent 70 said, the goings on with the leader of the Decepticons, Megatron. And of course, as he also said, the slobberknocker, which continues to be like, you know what? We just had another big ass fight between them two like a couple of issues ago. And now here we are again, back to it again. Which, you know what? Shout out to Dan Mara, first of all, because it is, you know, with George Corona prior to this and Dan Mora, who we already know is a great artist, you know, being charged with putting a lot of action in with the artistic churches, no small feat. So, and that being said, there's a particular spread in this particular. There's probably a couple of them actually, but one particular spread, a couple of pages in, it was like, oh, that is awesome. That is a great spread that is in here. And of course, like I said, you know, have to navigate all of the action and whatnot. Made it slightly rough, but you know what? Again, a dude of Morris' character handled it the best way he could, and that was pretty well.
Right. And I'll give hold that thought. I'll give a quick shout out to Dan Mara bringing in Optimus's battle axe.
Yes.
In pretty cool form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which again we've seen, but I don't know if you're talking about this issue or the other issue where. Right. Yeah.
But this issue in particular.
Right. So.
Because once I saw the color, I was just like, oh. Mm-hmm. You know, it's time to it's time to you know, it's clobbering time basically.
Right. Oh, they were going at it. Yeah. Which, like I said, I feel like we did see the axe a couple of issues ago when round one happened. Mm-hmm. I believe I may be slightly off of it, but I feel like it. I know the mace definitely did, but actually the mace also came out, so we can spoil that part. So they was going at it. And as Agent 70 said, yeah, we do see there's something's going on with Megatron, as we have seen with Prime previously, which I'm not entirely sure whether we got the full story on that, but I suspect they are connected. I suspect.
Probably.
But we do know, in the case of Prime, was because of something that previously belonged to the person he was fighting. That is now back in the current owner's hands. So, you know, again, if we may or may not get an explanation on that, we just still see. However, a couple other things is going on here. Shredhead continues to be bucking for the MVP spot, as he does what Rodimus couldn't do, coming into and not be a problem. Also, I don't know if Agent 70 talked about this the last time we talked about Transformers, but there was a change. RC underwent a change last issue that updated her status, and you see a nice little panel with her and the other person who shares the same station that she does now. And I'm hoping we're going to get a figure from. Although technically, I guess this version of RC kind of looks like it kind of is the version that we've seen in the cartoons, or at least more so, I guess. That with probably one or two added features to her. Okay. And I say that because it's like once you see her, well, if you read last issue and you see her, you know, the panel where she's revealed, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. But mostly everything is with a couple of more things to it. So maybe we'll get a figure out of this. I don't know. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll wait till next issue to spoil it. but like I said, this whole issue had some moments, and including one with OG with a G1 Autobot who just gets knocked around, who continues to get knocked around. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. It is so sad. There's just no kind of respect for the dude. But we also see other G1s kind of getting into the fight and doing their thing as they tend to do. And one from an animated series, which, you know, continued to be slightly annoying in a Rocket Raccoon kind of way.
Oh no.
As I said, it was the thing he does, but it can, you know, but kind of does. Wait, is Bobcat? I think Bobcat might be a she. I can't remember. Either way, so and then something happens at the end of this. Was like, wait, how in the world did they get here? Because last I checked, there was a one-way trip, and some folks pop up at the end to kind of be like to put a stop to things. Well, somebody came in real kind of hot and mad, put it that way. As we've seen that character kind of hot and mad previously, but they were also elsewhere. So how they got here, don't know. I guess we'll find that out next issue also. But that's that for Transformers 29. Potential click of the week for me. If anything I've just said didn't pretty much bear that out, then yeah. We might even see a little bit of a change in Soundwave, but I don't know, because there was a conversation between him and somebody that may or may not have reached him. You know, doesn't seem like as the book going on. Also, we got a combiner trans. This is a spoiler. I got to spoil this one, but I'm not gonna tell you who or why it was. But Kirkman's kind of playing a little fast and loose on the thing, because there was a combiner transformation that didn't go all the way through, but they just kind of was like, no, we got this part. Let's go. I'm like, I'm fairly certain that's not how that works. How that it classically works. But okay.
That's not how the Force works.
Right, exactly. We know two things. Combiners combine when they're all together, and they come about if you jiggle them the right way.
That's very funny.
No halfway points here, and yet here we go. I'm like, so, all right, I'm trying to let this slide, but it's hard to.
That's very funny.
Yeah, but that is Transformers 29. Continues to be a good read. That being said, but I'm like, all right, you're playing a little too fast and loose with some stuff. Just calm it down, Kirkman. But also, you continue to do your shit, or the shit that you've become known for at this point. Matter of fact, I think either in the letters page of this issue, or the last issue, Kirkman kind of made reference to that from a letter that was given, which was kind of funny. And then he was like, "Sorry," based on what happened. The best of what we saw happened last issue. So I was like, "Yeah, all right, you're not sorry." Anyway. That's Transformers number 29. We are going to move on to the next book that we have, which brings us over into the Marvel corner with Black Cat number 7.
Black Cat number 7 is written by G. Willow Wilson, with art by Gleb Melnikov, colors by Brian Reber, and letters are by our favorite lettering Python, VC's Joe Caramagna. So this is the start of a new story arc with Felicia Hardy, still kind of dealing with the fallout from the first story arc where Black Cat tried to go good. And while dealing with that, the crossover aspect of this issue starts. The crossover is not a secret. The crossover is right on the freaking cover.
And we've talked about it in the past.
Right. It's Mary Jane, who's not exactly just Mary Jane any longer. And I think some of my favorite scenes in this issue come about because of this particular recent change in Mary Jane's status quo. and how she has to relate to Felicia Hardy, moving, both in catching up and in moving forward. So, we're set up on this little. I think they called it a journey because what did they call it? It's not a trip, it's a journey because they don't exactly know where they're going or how they're going to get there.
Well, I think she said, the difference between a trip and a journey was planning or something like that. Something along those lines. Yeah.
So that's roughly what we're on right now, is because they're not exactly following a strict plan here. They are in essence performing a heist to try to help out Mary Jane. And that's where things, all the hijinks basically ensue. So I'll pass it on to Roddykat for his thoughts on this issue.
So that was the funny part about this issue, because as I was reading it, I was like, this is a weak premise for a team up. And then as it started, kind of like, oh, well, we got to go here. And I was like, oh, and just like them, I was like, well, wait, how in the world did it even get there of all places? And as it's going by, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm with this, I'm fine with this. But, yeah, we got a Venom thing. Like I said, we talked about this because it came up in the news in the past. So them coming together, and there's some symbiote mess going on here, which whatever. But to get these two ladies back together in a thing on. It's not necessarily even equal footing, because even the last time they kind of teamed up together, it was actually probably more equal footing than this one is, realistically, during Blood Hunt. So, but yeah, the funny part one of the funny parts about this, outside of the other stuff, is Felicia waking up, kind of not necessarily doom scrolling, but you might as well say that would be the word to use at this point. But it's more personal to her because of recent events in her book. And the funny part is a certain stretchy New Jerseyite decides to put in a shot in the reactions to it. And I found that kind of funny. One, also, that the writer, had a hand in creating. So you if you don't know who that is for what I'm talking about, then I don't know where you've been for the last decade or so. But to see that kind of get put in there was pretty fun to see. But yeah, that was Black Cat number 7. Also, I don't think I think Agent 70 can attest to this. I don't think you would probably see any mermaids in the East River. So,
well, she gave some, G. Willow Wilson put some story justification.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, totally.
For that, so.
But
I kind of dug that. I was like, all right, so we'll get away with this, and the art actually supplements exactly what she's saying as an explanation. So I got that, but
I did too, but it was just still funny.
Right. I have to give Gleb Melnikov a lot of credit on the art on this book. His art on this book, for basically the duration of this series. So so far, I think he might have taken off one issue. Is one of the big draws for me, right? Obviously, in addition to G. Willow Wilson's writing, because the expressions that he's able to give to Felicia, to several of the characters in the book, are so well done. His faces are just very expressive. So I think that definitely helps with, the storytelling, with the emotions conveyed, and just the overall feel of this book. So that's one of the reasons why I always enjoy this book.
Agreed. And with that, we push on to the next book that we have in common, which is excuse me, Planet She-Hulk number 4.
Planet She-Hulk number 4 is written by Stephanie Phillips with art by Emilio Lizo. Colors are by Fabi Marquez, and letters again are by our favorite lettering paisan, the hardest working letterer over at Virtual Calligraphy, VC's Joe Caramagna. We have a guest star in this issue that was revealed at the end of the last issue. And we get some context as to why this particular guest star is here, because the last time we saw him, Jack of Hearts, he was very different or in a different place. And we get a little bit of explanation as to how we get here and how he's found himself on Nusakar, basically in a very tough situation with Jennifer Walters. This issue, shows Jen kind of come up with some creative solutions and some strategic ways of dealing with her problems. But at the end of the issue, spoiler alert, betrayal most foul. And, I'll give Roddykat some time to talk about his thoughts on the issue.
Yeah, I feel like this is the second, maybe third. This is definitely second week in a row where I have to say the person who comes in as the MVP is the one who pretty much brings about the swerve, or potentially. And the last one's still kind of up for debate, but it's definitely, there's some stuff definitely still going on with that. But yeah, I guess the closest thing, well, with what's going on with this issue, and like I said, Jen dealing with, the appearance of her maybe possibly still boyfriend, maybe not boyfriend. We don't still entirely sure, but they kind of go through some of that in here, as she's dealing with that in a particular way. Current slang has reared its way in here in, in the way that it was meant to, honestly. In this particular way, sure. It still makes sense. It's still kind of weird to see, but it's still
Current slang. Now
yes.
I'm gonna try to see what that is.
Yes, a bit of current slang kind of comes into play as she's talking to this, probably the one friend that she has here on Newscar, or the closest thing she has to before what happens at the end of the issue.
Current slang. Now my memory is failing me because I probably tuned it out when I read it.
And that's fine.
I mean, listen, Stephanie Phillips is a good. I like Stephanie Phillips as a writer. I'm following some of her books right now. I've read most of her. I've read a lot of her stuff. I was on and off Phoenix, but I read all new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider, and I've been reading Planet She-Hulk, and I like what she's been doing. I like how she writes. And I need to see what you're referring to, because she is on the younger side. She's not so young, but
Right.
she's definitely on the younger side. So she has some familiarity with the current vernacular.
Right, which is, I was going to ask that question, but I feel like I answered my own question as you were saying that, and you just kind of confirmed it. Yes, so she is of the younger side. So yeah, it kind of makes sense as to why they come to.
Right.
Like I said,
I was about to say, I probably didn't think of it as being so forced as Ziegler does it with Miles,
right,
but
or anybody
thankfully
else.
I was about to say, thankfully that run is over. So I'm sorry.
Wait,
Shots
did
fired.
they end Miles's book?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because the I guess him being an Ultimate book. We talked about that before or whatever.
Right, and they're restarting. Well, I was about to say they're restarting that Origin Boxes stuff. I think Miles, the stuff that's happening with Miles, especially with like that Incursion book,
Right.
is going to roll into like the new Armageddon, like whatever happens post Armageddon and all that stuff.
Right. And I think he's still writing it's not that this matters to many people out there, but I think he is still writing the Infinity comic that Miles has. But
Okay.
so he's not fully.
He's not gone.
Right, he's not gone, but it's just like he's just not on a physically published book. Wait, I have to check it out because I know that thing still exists, but I don't know who's writing it, so I might be wrong about that. We'll see. Regardless, though, back to She-Hulk. So yeah, in current predicament left us with a thing at the end of this issue that Jen's going to have to deal with next issue, and still pretty good. It is still a great read. So we shall see how this pans out. Excuse me. And the last issue, the last book that we have together that we have.
I see. I see the slang.
Mm-hmm.
I see the slang. It's not. It's. I thought it was at a different sequence, but I see it now.
Right. DCKO number 4 of 5.
DCKO number 4 of 5, published by DC, obviously, is written by Scott Snyder. The writer of the backup story is Joshua Williamson. The art of the main story is Javi. Oh my God, that's a terrible typo. Javi Fernandez. I must have been tired typing that out, man. The art for the backup is by Hermonico. Colors on this book are by Alejandro Sanchez, and letters are by Hassan Othmani Elhu. The big confrontation, the big showdown between the final 4 DC champions against the trio, plus, spoiler alert, plus a future hero in the past, spliced with one big bad himself, right? The trio are the absolute versions of the DC Trinity, and we get a knockdown, drag out slobberknocker with one member of the heroes of the DC universe. When I say heroes, I say loosely because we get the final 4. Basically, let's say the final 4, the finalists from the DC side of the KO tournament. One of them turns coat. One of them switches sides, but we get a reveal that who was once dead is now not dead. He is arisen. No, not hallelujah. It is just, the guy who seems to always have a plan for every eventuality.
There we go. And
right.
also the person who quote unquote turned coat, unsurprisingly.
Of course.
In fact, we had 2 of them in this. Both of the characters, not necessarily turn court, but doing what we expect them to do in situations.
Right.
So, yeah. So while we got this big dirty fight with stuff, Clark's still trying to figure out how to save everybody. Kind of, we were wondering why we were getting I think that was him that was getting the narration from who for the last couple of issues. Probably through the whole thing, now that I think about it, I'm not sure, but who's been narrating this whole thing as Agent 7 has risen from the supposed grave, but of course, yes, dude always has a plan, so of course they show back, they rear themselves back up in here. Also, I'm just going to mention this, that may or may not give away things, may or may not, but given that Absolute Batman's in here, it matters either way. Admitting to the Batman luck is one thing, but having the couple of number of bat puns that show up in this issue was kind of funny. Granted, there wasn't that many, but it was more than you would expect from a Batman. Put it that way. So, but yeah, everybody now knows what's going on with that whole Darkseid situation to the point. And at the end of this, a winner is crowned. And but that wasn't it, because as that happens, Darkseid continues to do some more thing. Or I guess previously, I don't know if that's a previously set up or continuing to be set up, a thing that gives him another gives him another winning spot. Let's just say, to which I don't know if that shows up in any other book or not. I assume maybe it did. I don't know, because I'm sure that, with all those side books, something probably came out here. And there's definitely something in this particular issue that did come out of one of those side books that I didn't read, but, it is what it is. In fact, yes, it is, because there was that whole Nightfall book that was referenced in this. So, yeah. Therein lies that. So, yeah, I
was about to say, we do get a winner of the tournament.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said that already. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying. I wanted to just double kind of remind everyone. It's like, yeah, we actually do get a winner of the tournament.
But it doesn't continue. But it doesn't stop just because that happened.
Right.
So, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. The next issue, which I'm sure probably will spill over into a couple other side issues up until that happens. So we shall see. And that, folks, is it for the book that we have in common. Let's get into rapid fire.
Rapid fire review time, folks.
I ain't got time to bleed.
All right, first up for me is Absolute Wonder Woman 2026 Annual #1, published by DC. It's written by Kelly Thompson with art by Mattia De Ulis, and letters are by Becca Carey. This issue is basically a follow-up to one of the early events of this series, right? Like we're what 14, 15 issues in, I think, on the Absolute books, the main Absolute books, I believe. I can look that up myself, but at the
it
end
might
of the
be
day,
16 for Wonder Woman, but yeah.
right. But my point is, like, this is like harkening back to the first arc, right? So you kind of have to do a little bit of digging into the archives to think back to what happened way back when and why this follow-up is kind of necessary and kind of makes perfect sense for the character, right? And when you read it, it is very much placed in the context of the current continuity, what's really recently happened in the Absolute Wonder Woman book, as well as circling back, as I said, to that first arc of story, that first story arc. And it's just so well done, right? I gush about Absolute Wonder Woman every time I read it. This is definitely a candidate for Kliq of the Week for me. This is quality work. Next up for me is Cyclops #1. It's written by Alex Packnadel with art by Roge Antonio. Colors are by Fer Cifuentes Sujo, and letters are by VC's Joe Caramagna. This is a tie-in to the Shadows of Tomorrow kind of wave of books in the wake of Age of Revelation, and this is putting Cyclops out on his own. It is definitely set in the current continuity of the X books. This is not like a flashback story. This is set in what's happening right now, just as a quick side story. And the side story involves none other than, I don't want to spoil everything, but none other than a former member of the Hellfire Club who was known for doing some, who's known for doing some Terminator-like stuff. That is a big clue. Right, and I think that should be enough to give you a good hint as to what this issue holds and where this miniseries is going to go. Next up is Marc Spector, Moon Knight #1, another launch of Moon Knight. It's written by Jed McKay with art by Devmalia Pramanik. Colors are by Rochelle Rosenberg, and letters are by VC's Corey Petit. So, if you don't remember where we left off, the last Moon Knight series, don't worry, because we're starting off this new series in a really weird space, and we end up kind of following up on at least one of the threads that were dangling at the end of the most recent Moon Knight run. And so we have here like a kind of a fun way to get into it. Like, it takes a second to get into it, but once you get into it, you're going to, I think, get drawn in, especially if you are a fan of Moon Knight. And last but not least for me is a Vertigo book, a DC Vertigo book. I am not a DC Vertigo traditionally. I am not a DC Vertigo person. I was willing to take a look at this issue, from a review perspective, from an academic review perspective. Bleeding Hearts #1, published by DC Vertigo. It's written by Dennis Camp, with art by Stepan Morian. Colors are by Matt Hollingsworth, and letters are by Hassan Othmane Elhu. The story of, we have kind of a pair of protagonists, or as close to protagonists as you can get when we're talking about two zombies in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. So this is told from the zombies' perspective. But there's something very different about one of these particular zombies. And that, I guess, is the primary perspective that we are told the story from. This is the primary, I guess, lead character. I guess you would call this person the lead character, or the zombie the lead character. But I read it basically as, we're following a duo, but one of them has something very different that distinguishes him from the rest of the zombie horde. And it's interesting. It's interesting to read the zombies' perspective in a zombie apocalypse, and I think that's what makes this different. There is plenty to please the zombie gore people. There's always going to be people who are into the zombie gore. I'm not that big into the zombie gore, but there's enough of it for fans of that, as well as of kind of I used to call it the artsy fartsy comic art style, just because I was a superhero person, right? Like a little bit off the to me, a little bit off the beaten path, maybe a little bit more cartoonish than I would have normally liked. But I'm older, wiser, wizened, read a lot more books since I remember. Since the first phase, the first wave, the first era of Vertigo Comics. So now in this era, I'm definitely a little bit more comfortable with reading a book in this style. So, I'm curious to see what happens next. And that's it for me.
Okay. All right. And for myself, we start off with just a little bit of Disney afternoon with
Stone by day, warriors by night.
Let's get dangerous.
Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck, #2. 5 at that. Plot by Tad Stones and Greg Weisman, the creators of Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck, reverse ways. Script by Greg Weisman, art by Ciro Cangialosi and Agnes Eterno, and letters by Jeff Eckleberry. So, yeah, this continues the team up between the terror that flaps in the night and the warriors, the stone warriors, whatever they call them. I'm sorry for Gargoyles for people. I'm sure you'll hate me for that one, but hey, if you heard the soundbite, you know what it is already. First off, there's a Three Stooges reference in here, which is kind of funny. Second off, so after the events of last issue, if you know anything about Gargoyles, there's a certain thing that can't happen, or that usually doesn't happen, or unless it's for a plot point. And this is one of those times where it happens as a plot point. And that's Goliath, who after meeting Darkwing Duck and having a chat with him, gets caught out in the daylight, in the wrong place. So somebody has to kind of watch over him, while that is happening. And of course that gets left to Darkwing Duck, while Goliath's boo thing runs down some leads, which leads after it's all said and done, on to where they needed to be, let's just say, and into a confrontation or two with the antagonist of the book, who, as I said the last time we talked about the book, and if you're watching the video version, you can see, is Demona of the Gargoyle Clan, which, and also I found out something about that character, which I did not know, which not surprising, because again, I have not watched Gargoyles, but I did read some of these books. Apparently she found a way to kind of skirt the curse that gargoyles have to deal with. That has to do with the time of day. So, and at which Darkwing Duck kind of mentions later on in this book, which is kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, that's you're right, but I guess that is the thing. So, leads, like I said, leads to the confrontation, the obvious confrontation, and of course other people coming into the book. But things are not finished, as because this is the story of 5 issues, and you gotta kind of keep it going, which is let's just say the thread is still out there that needs to be followed, and thanks to one character who's pretty much leading the charge on being somewhere where they're not supposed to be and letting that happening, put it that way. But yeah, continues to be a fun read. It's fun and funny at that. So, if that is of interest to you, you should check it out. Next up, I was debating about whether I was going to talk about this book, and I kind of really want to, but I will save it. So, ignore everything I just said. That's the tease for a couple of weeks from now.
We think.
Yes. If not,
we may end up dropping it next week, depending upon whatever developments happen.
Correct. Whether we can get some confirmation about when it's actually supposed to come out. Which, like I said, that has never stopped us before, as we have said before. But in this, we're using a little bit of caution on this one. But just note, there is something that has been. There's something that we've been meaning to talk about that is slowly coming. But the next book for me is Space Ghost number 8. Written by David Pepose, art by Jonathan Lau, colors by Andrew Dahlhaus, and letters by Taylor Esposito. So this pretty much, that's a typo. This pretty much concludes that's a definite typo. This concludes the current story, the current arc, with that was basically the introduction of another of Space Ghost's rogues gallery, but this person might not be around next year. Don't know, or it might. I'm sure they'll find a way to come back. So Jane and Jace find out they have a few issues ago. Jane and Jace find out they have a family member that is still alive. Much to Space Ghost's chagrin. And he's been kind of cautious about this, and the caution was pretty much met, even though despite what happens that Space Ghost caused in making this villain come into being, sadly, none of them caught the memo or the signs of who this person was up until this issue. If you know of Spider-Man's villain, Mr. Negative, you kind of get a sense of this person's power set, but closely, but not, it's in a similar vein, put it that way. But
sure,
it is. But there are some supposedly differences, but it doesn't seem that much. That being said, that whole matter has been kind of taken away, which causes some things to happen with a couple of characters. David Pepose has been out there on Twitter almost cackling, saying, oh, here I am writing up a draft on, killing somebody, killing a character. And I think this may or may not have what we were talking about, although this doesn't necessarily partially fits, but it partially doesn't fit. So this character could possibly come back at some point. We don't know. We'll see. But regardless, Space Ghost action. It's a good read. You should check it out. It still kind of boggles me that none of them caught the signs that the person who ends up being the person behind being the person is who they thought it was, but who they knew it was. But and that's neither here nor there. And actually, as I take off a book from my list, is it for me Kliqs of the week.
Alrighty, Kliqs of the week.
So,
I've got my candidates.
oh, good. Please do tell.
My candidates are Absolute Wonder Woman 2026 Annual number 1.
Figure.
Next up is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 15.
Sure.
Next up is Transformers number 29.
Also figure.
Next up again is Black Cat number 7. So those are my candidates for Kliq of the Week, but I'm going to give you my winner right now. It's Absolute Wonder Woman 2026 Annual number 1.
And again,
But
figures.
I wanted to shout out some really strong books that came out this week.
So I will echo a couple of those. Wonder Woman aside, because having not read any of that. Let's see. Black Cat is definitely one of them. Transformers, another one. Actually, if I was going to put another book that we're teasing for the next couple of weeks, that one also would have been in the case, but we're not. So, what was the other one? Let's see, Transformers, Black Cat, Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck. That is the other one. I think. No. Yeah, that's it. I was going to say Planet She-Hulk. Which is good. You should definitely check it out, but it is not in that case. And for me, I am going to go with Turtles also. Excuse me, forget me. Yes, Turtles also is in that. Is definitely in that. But I'm going to go with Transformers number 29 as my Kliq of the week. Probably to no one's surprise. But I would like to say before we go any further, great. Now that's another soundbite that I need to put in. G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero came in, which is celebrated a anniversary, and apparently, from what I understand, introduced 2 new characters. But I am not up on the current book to kind of go down that road. But just thought that for anybody who's interested, maybe want to pick that up. I guess there was a DuckTales Valentine's Day special because we're starting to get those things coming out at this point.
Well, it is Valentine's Day weekend.
That's what I'm saying.
The date of this recording, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And there was also a Thundercats Valentine's Day book, which of course, if you're watching the video version, with a lot of people's Valentines when they were young. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just saying.
I was just going to say, forgive me, Absolute Wonder Woman is up to 16, so the main Absolute books are up to 16.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Also, there was the Fall of Ultraman book, which I didn't get a chance to check that out, and which that looks like, no, it's not Godzilla. I'm about to say, there's a Godzilla-looking character on the front of that, and I was like, wait a minute. But also, Star Wars Jar Jar was a book that came out this week.
You said people gonna die?
Yeah, which is what made me think about it when you said that earlier. I was like, wait, that book did actually come out this week. Co-written by Jar Jar himself, Ahmad Best. So there you go. But I didn't get a chance to check that out. So it's fine. Also, if you're watching the cover, it does look like a very Darth the beginnings of a very Darth Jar Jar book, which is the theory that people had. Which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's it, folks. That is those are our Kliqs of the week. We are going to go into the news section, but first, an ad read.
Our first ad read of the night is for Funko, Fun at First Sight. It's your home for exclusive collectibles such as their world-famous pop vinyl bobbleheads, apparel including t-shirts, hats, and socks, and brand merchandise including custom DIY pop figures, art books, and skateboards. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can enjoy 10% off your entire purchase when shopping at Funko. To place your first order with 10% off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Funko link and place your place your order. When you get to the checkout, put in the offer code SHOP10 for your 10% off discount. Funko through cspn.us. Do it today. And now we get into the news.
Cinematic news as we do about this time. First up, hey, guess what, folks? There's a little thing called the Super Bowl that happened recently. You know, you sports ball people, you know all about that. And during said sporting event, of which there is another one currently going on, some commercials came out of the movie trailer variety and other stuff. But in this particular case, we're talking about the movie theater. We're talking about the movie variety. So, yeah, there was a Supergirl spot that came up. Apparently, that was in the Puppy Bowl, which honestly was probably a better event than the actual sporting events that, according to some people, I don't know. But regardless, and there was also a spot for the Mandalorian and Grogu, Pixar's Hoppers, another Scream movie. Good gracious.
Scream 7.
Yeah.
Scream 7. I saw the trailer just now, and yeah, I can't believe there have been 7 of these. God.
Yeah, there's that Project Hail Mary movie, which if you've been to the theaters, you've seen stuff about that, and also that next new Super Mario Brothers movie, or excuse me, that new Super Mario movie, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about, and another Minions movie, and also yeah, I don't care about that one. And another new Spielberg movie, which had me thinking, is this a sequel to Independence Day? But I don't think so, because I feel like, whatever happened in Independence Day, that trailer would have already happened. Would have happened and already happened. Yeah. But yeah, therein lies that. I don't know, Agent 70, you did watch a couple of these before the show. What you think about?
I think the Project Hail Mary trailer tells a lot of the story, and I think it may help convince people to watch the movie, although it does, I think, really tell a lot of the story. So that's the double-edged sword of that particular style of trailer. The Supergirl trailer was fine, and I think that I'm trying to think what else. The He-Man trailer was, showed a little bit more action with regards to what happens during the movie.
Oh wait, was that in this article?
I thought that was one you didn't want to talk about because of one Leto Jared.
No. Actually, I didn't. I just didn't see that one. Actually, no. Yeah, I don't see it in this article. No, there was a Netflix movie with a dude that I was like, I don't care. But yeah, I don't see that if you. But yeah, I guess it would have. I guess it would make sense if there was a He-Man trailer present at the Super Bowl. So that makes, or during the Super Bowl, I guess that makes sense. So, but yeah, therein lies that. So I'm sure people have seen them by now, or not. I don't know if you have or not. I don't know your life, as people tend to say. Next up,
so I guess there's some rumors, and we know what we say about rumors, right? Where do we go?
But I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard that from me.
Right? So, there's a rumor that Marvel may be gearing up, in terms of the movies and or the television shows and or both, to a Devil's Reign type of storyline, considering that the Netflix Defenders saga, basically, the Netflix Defenders group of stories, is basically canon in the MCU now. So, we'll see what they're able to develop using these returning characters since we know that John Bernthal is returning as the Punisher, and we already know that Daredevil's back, and we're getting, and it's not a big spoiler, but we're getting Jessica Jones back. So we'll see where we go from here. All right.
Yeah, and I think we talked about the Jessica Jones thing like probably about a week or two ago. So yeah, definitely not a big spoiler. Unless you just haven't been keeping up with stuff. So
right, Daredevil Born Again comes back to Disney Plus on March 24th, while Brand New Day, the next Spider-Man movie, swings into theaters on July 31st of this year. Goodness gracious, man.
Yep. All the way to this November, December when we get Doomsday. So, which is probably why we didn't see anything in the Super Bowl stuff for that. Makes sense. Far enough out. To news that I just added to the lineup. Spider-Man Noir teaser trailer drops in color and black and white, but apparently I think it's just going to be, the show itself is just going to be in color. I'm not sure, but so let's see. Sony Pictures and Prime Video has dropped the first trailer for Spider-Man Noir series, starring, of course, Nicolas Cage as a live-action variant of his Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse character. Excuse me, Spider-Man Noir. So, according to this article, just like the show, the trailer is available to watch in true hue color or genre-authentic black and white. You know, if you so choose. And, yeah, it just goes into a little bit more of that. And I guess we get a little bit more about some of the supporting characters that are going to be in this. So Lamorne Harris is playing Robbie Robertson. Karen Rodriguez is playing Ben Riley's secretary and fellow investigator Janet. Lee Jun Lee plays nightclub singer Cat Hardy. A character inspired by, if you know your comics, you know who that is. Brenda Gleason plays mob boss and antagonist Silvermane, while Jack Houston plays Flint Marco, his enforcer. And this article knows more commonly known as Sandman in other realities. So yeah, sure. But yeah, that's that, and that's a thing that we didn't necessarily need, but hey, it's coming one way or the other. It will be on MGM Plus on Monday, May 25th, before releasing its entirety on Prime Video 2 days later, according to this. So. And also notes that it'll arrive 2 months before the next Spider-Man film, Brand New Day. So there you go. Next up.
Already next up, Paramount has enhanced its offer for Warner Brothers Discovery, not formally upping its $30 a share cash bid, but rather injecting a new 25-cent per share so-called ticking fee payable to Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders for each quarter its transaction. For each quarter its transaction has not closed beyond December 31st, 2026. It said the move comes to about $650 million in cash value each quarter and underscores Paramount's confidence in the speed and certainty of regulatory approval for its transaction. It also agreed to fund a $2.8 billion termination fee that would be payable to Netflix and ticked off a series of concessions around Warner Brothers Discovery debt financing costs and obligations. Yeah, so Warner Brothers Discovery has a deal to sell its studios and streaming assets to Netflix and advised shareholders several times to reject a hostile takeover offer from David Ellison's company, which is looking to acquire all of Warner Brothers Discovery. There's a full-out PR battle raging as executives of all three, content creators, unions, Warner shareholders, politicians, and regulators on both sides of the Atlantic. Okay.
Yeah,
Netflix late last month, upgraded its offer of $27.75 a share from cash and stock to all cash because they can ball like that.
Yeah, really. And now they're sitting at the card table just like, all right, you're going to raise or fold. What you going to do? Man, this is so stupid. I don't want Paramount to get this, but at the same time, don't want Netflix either. But Somebody's going to come out with it. Also, they're rebooting the freaking Rockford Files. Why? Anyway, that's a whole nother situation for another time and place. As we go on to, let me make sure that I got that right. I do. HBO's Baldur's Gate series will not have Larian attached. Larian is the studio who makes the video game Baldur's Gate 3 and others, and others similar to it. They will not apparently have anything to do with it, which that's kind of sad and sucky. But yeah, according to these articles, Larian, the game's developer, will seemingly have no involvement with the series. People have been quick to share their thoughts online, and you just heard mine. So there you go. This article also mentions that it's not exactly typical that a video game developer not have any involvement with it, which there are definitely cases of that, more so in the past and more, than nowadays. So, it also notes that Larian it's noted that Larian had ended his partnership with Baldur's Gate and Dungeons and Dragons owner Wizards of the Coast some time ago, which, yeah, that is a thing. That's true. Oh, Lord, and here we go. Fans are apprehensive, to say the least. One studio developer even posted a thread saying, and I quote, "I'm a crash out on Maine." Which there was some current slang that was mentioned again. Oh man, I'm just getting news left and right for later on, but won't go into this week. So we're going to the next news story with.
So, in a deal finalized late last year, Apple has acquired Severance, the IP and all rights to the show from 5th season. Deadline is learned. So, under this agreement, which is going to cost just under $70 million, Apple's in-house Apple Studios will be the studio on the Emmy award-winning series going forward, with Indy 5th season becoming an executive producer. So they're still going to have a finger in the pie. The transaction is similar to the handover between AMC Studios and Apple Studios of another elaborate high-concept drama, Silo, after season 1. Severance is a high-end drama said to cost as much as $20 million an episode for its 10-episode second season, and it's going to become a marquee title in the Apple Studios portfolio, joining popular series such as Your Friends and Neighbors, Stick, Sugar, and Palm Royale, and movies such as last year's tentpole F1.
Which is funny because I feel like every time I've seen any advertisement for Apple TV, definitely not a sponsor, Severance is front and center, or if not, very close up.
Right.
So one would have thought they already had a deal such as this in place. So, oh well, good for those folks.
Well, when Ted Lasso wasn't, like the main show, and what's funny is that Ted Lasso is still produced by an outside studio as opposed to being an Apple inside job, basically.
Right. I got you. Cool. And now we go into the one piece of manga news that we have.
Oh, want me to do this one? All right.
No, I thought you were going to do a soundbite. So.
Oh, soundbite. I'm sorry. I was like, what are we waiting for? Okay, we're waiting for me.
30 anticipated manga for winter 2026. Here's a list. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm actually not entirely sure if there's anything familiar in here. Nope, not that one. If you're watching the video version, you see me scrolling through the list as I find something that might be popular enough to know. Let's see. Nope, not that. That's it. Love. No, sure, no. Okay. Beast King and Medicinal Herb. That sounds like something, but no. Yeah, don't know that one either. But hey, you know what? I I'm sure I will make a very distinct cut. Oh, there we go. Cyberpunk Edge Runners Madness Volume 1. There you go. That's something people know about. I mean, I'm sure manga people know a lot of these, but to those of us who don't read as much manga, Blades of the Guardians.
Right, not on the regular, right? Definitely not on the regular. That's what happens because these are, rather lengthy, trade paperbacks. Sometimes you can read the weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly drops in Shonen Jump or on the Viz app. So, these drops for people who insist on paper copies, they're still very popular. There are definitely plenty of stores out there for people who like to follow manga in that format.
Let's see, there's Deep 3, looks like a basketball manga, because of course. But yeah, Speed Racer, there we go. There's, well, technically, that's, I guess that still counts. The first trade of the Speed Racer comic from Mad Cave, which, again, I guess that counts, and I guess it's now we're starting to get into some stuff that's definitely not manga. But, hey. Regardless, there is stuff out there for folks, and that is what's important. Next up.
This next article talks about something that happened in last week's Batman number 6. It's the end of an era for Batman and Robin. Is it? Well, a particular Robin, maybe, and that's the deal. So, if you haven't been spoiled yet, spoilers incoming. Man, I haven't rang the spoiler bell in ages, so you better know that the spoilers are incoming. So, in last week's Batman number 6, Tim Drake decided to leave Robin behind, his identity as Robin, basically hang up his particular cape and cowl and uniform, and basically leave the crime fighting to Bruce and Damian and Dick Grayson and whatever other sidekicks are, whatever the other sidekicks are doing right now. So, but he's out. He's called it a day.
Yes. Well, you know what? And given that his last code name was his last name, which some would say could take after a pitiful rapper at this point. Probably what else?
It's I don't I could quote a particular Kendrick line.
And it's probably a minor, but
Yep.
Yes, I would probably call it after this also. So yeah, there you go. Tim Drake's out of here for the time being, which sure, I'm sure that's somebody's favorite Robin, even though I think he probably hadn't been going by Robin in a minute at this point. But next up, Superman and Sex Criminals in the top 10 hottest, speaking of fraction, in the top 10 hottest comics of the week, which is funny because I'm sitting here thinking Sex Criminals still have something coming out, because I thought I legit thought this was a very old article. So apparently Superman's manga inspired cover and Sex Criminals number 1 topped the week's hottest comics list. So I guess maybe there was a push out there for Sex Criminals to kind of come back. I don't know. I mean, growing it was a good book, but I don't remember them coming out with anything new. But Absolute Universe dominates with multiple top spots thanks to hot variant covers and exclusive, according to this article. And about other variant covers, including one talking about Nightwing. And
Wait, Amazon Prime Video has ordered a series adaptation of Sex Criminals.
Yeah,
okay.
But so they must have gotten some more headway on that, because that's been a thing for a while. They've been trying to shop. They've actually been trying to shop that for a while, specifically. So, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So I guess Amazon finally picked that up, because like I said, I the last time I saw them at Heroes Con, which was whole almost decade ago at this point. Actually, almost a whole decade ago, they were still trying to shop that. So good for them. But yeah, there's a list of stuff that's on the top 10 right there, and now that makes a little bit more sense as to why Sex Criminals, because the fan base on that kind of rallied behind it. For that announcement. Next up, though,
my goodness, DC launches a massive Absolute Universe reprint wave as demand continues to surge. DC is preparing a sweeping round of new printings across its Absolute Universe titles as interest in the line remains exceptionally strong. The publisher is returning dozens of issues to shelves this March to help comic shops restock keep chapters, give new readers access to full runs, and allow collectors to complete their sets. The reprints will be available for retailers to order as needed and will not follow a final order cutoff process. Yeah, that's wild. So starting March 4th, the comic shops will receive reprints of Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Superman. A second wave arrives on March 18th, featuring Absolute Flash, Absolute Green Lantern, and Absolute Martian Manhunter.
To a conversation that was brought up last show. So if you haven't watched the last show, why not? Also, there was a question that was brought up in the chat that I feel like this particular graphic that is on the screen showing the releases or the current number of releases for the Absolute stuff kind of bears out from the conversation that we had. If you're not watching the video version, I would like for you to understand that this is just all of, I don't even know. Okay, it starts off with the Absolute Batman book, but so 11th printing for Absolute Batman #1, 8th printing for Batman #2, for Absolute Batman #2, 7th, 6th, 5, etc., etc., etc. So Batman 14 is on its third. 12, 13, and 14 are on their third reprintings. Wherein Absolute Wonder Woman only is on its 8th, and then it goes from 6th, 5th, 4th, and to do the Absolute Superman #1, 7th printing, and then it just kind of goes down from there.
They're all in at least their third printing, which is crazy.
Yes.
They're all of them, every single issue.
Mm-hmm. Absolute, yep. Absolute Batman Flash, which we've been hearing things about Absolute Manhunter. And neither one of us had a chance to read this. As far as
I've tried. I read the first issue, and I just couldn't get into it. I know that it is good. I know that Dennis Camp is doing some good stuff in there. I just haven't really tried to sink my teeth into it. So
yeah,
I just we read a lot of books every week, folks.
This is also true. Absolute Green Lantern, like I said, we talked about it earlier, and then that was a good book.
Right, and that's another one where I read the first issue, and I liked it. I just haven't been able to keep up with it because we read too much.
Right, but like I said, going back to the top with the Absolute Batman, that is a telling sign right there and there for stuff that we talked about last week. But yeah. Good on the Absolute line, I guess. But I wouldn't say people wanted something different, in which these books are different to a point. So that's good on it. I'll leave it at that. Next up, though.
Let's see. Next up. A new history of the DC Universe Dakota Incident joins Milestone to KO. How the new history of the DC Universe, the Dakota Incident, joins the worlds of Milestone to DC's KO and more. So the new history of the DC Universe, the Dakota Incident, merges Milestone and DC Comics timelines in a bold event. Lex Luthor's role in the Dakota Incident is spotlighted, reshaping the origins of Milestone characters. Static and Dakota City heroes clash with the U.S. government, setting up high stakes for Milestone fans. Major Milestone creators and artists unite for this pivotal one-shot, hinting at more Milestone stories ahead.
Yeah, this article kind of notes that the new history of DC Universe pretty much kind of at most a page, probably not even that, of the milestone stuff. And I guess this is going to be the thing that fluffs more, that expounds on more of that, I guess, as opposed to what the book did. We shall see when it comes out. And I know definitely Joseph Illich has been out there promoting the hell out of this. So therein lies that. But yeah, this is going to be on sale at the end of this month.
Couple weeks.
Yeah,
a couple
the 25th. So we'll talk about it then. We shall see. IDW gets hard-boiled with new crime imprint this summer. So let's see. Ahead of next week's annual retailer event, Comics Pro, which I'm sure we'll probably see some more news coming out of that. And actually, how old is this article? No, it's okay. This is recent. So IDW Crime will launch with 3 miniseries this summer, each consisting of 3 40-page issues. And this is being overseen by senior group editors Heather Antos and Jake Thomas. Let's see, 7 Crimes is one book, written by Zoe Tonnell and art by V. Gagnon and Tessalin Bergen Daikoi. I apologize if I'm butchering that name. Killer Influences, which is the second book by Joey Esposito. That name sounds familiar. And Valeria Berzo. And the last book is called Fixation by Amy Chase and Savannah Mayer. So, yeah, if you are into crime noir stuff, this may be the imprint for you when this stuff comes out. You'll see. 7 Wives will debut on May 20th. Killer Influences will begin on July 1st, and Fixation #1 will follow on September 9th. So there you go. Next up.
Marvel Comics has lifted the lid on next month's one-shot Spider-Man Meals to Astonish, revealing it will feature chef and humanitarian Jose Andres in a story by Steve Orlando and Roy Mercado and a cover by Mike Mignola. That's a pretty big surprise. That's a pretty good get. The one-shot will mark the first in a series celebrating the life-changing and impactful work of Andres' World Central Kitchen in communities in crisis around the world. Orlando previously worked with Andres by scripting the graphic memoir Feeding Dangerously, published by TKO Studios in 2023, while Mignola raised funds for the World Central Kitchen by auctioning art at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. And after the wildfires in Hawaii in 2023. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen them out here, some stuff, so I guess it was a matter of time. Wait, is that C.B. Sapolsky supposed to be in it? But anyway, you know what?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Daily Bugle food critic Chet Chetkowski bears an uncanny resemblance to Marvel's editor-in-chief C.B. Sapolsky.
Watakowen Sadinki.
Mm-hmm.
There's the cover or a variant cover right there if you're watching the video version. Actually, a couple of them. There's a Peach Momoko variant cover and some more pages.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think this is definitely worth picking up. And if it's a Mike Mignola cover, like we don't get that very often for Marvel now, so I think that's going to be very much worth it.
Oh, this is also something cool as a part of this. As well as the main story, Meals to Astonish will feature the first print edition of Paul Eschbach and E.J. Sue's Infinity Comic Test Kitchen, which I read that. I remember it was pretty good. The comic original released in 2022 follows Edwin Jarvis's niece. Now, that part I didn't know. After she lands a job as Tony Stark's personal chef. And I remember that because there was like, as going through the store, you get like actual recipes in during the course of the Infinity comics. So it was kind of cute. But that's cool. Next up, though, Abrams to publish new Alex Ross graphic novel, Marvel Dimensions. Let's see. Alex Ross brings a new point of view to the Marvel Universe as an upcoming solo graphic novel, Marvel Dimensions. The story starts with a look at the origin stories of Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, Wolverine, and other iconic characters, all depicted in fully painted spreads, as Alex Ross tends to do. Then the shift. Excuse me for a second. excuse me, then shifts into a darker, more complex narrative that uses a layered structure and interlocking stories to draw the reader into mystery at the center of the book. So the graphic novel includes a bonus 32-page comic that is an integral part of the storyline. Again, this is going to be by Abrams Comic Arts that will publish this, and it will be coming out September 1st, 2026, with an MSRP of $29.99. So, cool. Next up.
All right, 1 second. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls release date. What? New X-Men characters announced. Sony State of Play. Arc System Works announced new characters on a release date for their upcoming fighting game, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. The Unbreakable X-Men join the character roster, and the final game will be released for PS5 and PC on August 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to presume this is downloading. We're going to be downloading this game, not buying it.
Yeah. You know what? Well, definitely, yes, downloading, but I'm not sure I didn't see anything about a physical release. So there might be one coming later, but I didn't see. So that State of Play was today as we recorded this. So I was happy to see that. And yes, they did. So one, they mentioned, actually, I don't think they mentioned the whole thing. One, this was leaked by the Steam page for a couple of days ago, as I come to find out, or a couple of days prior to this recording. But they did announce a couple of new characters, that being, well, one, a group, which, Arc System Works kind of does. So the group is Storm, which is already a character that we already knew about. Wolverine, Magic, and Danger were announced in this during the State of Play, and they're all going to be a part of, or be the Unbreakable X-Men. And that State of Play also kind of mentions like what other teams are going to come next. So which means there's probably going to be some more announcements coming up at some point leading up to the release. We also found out that I think it's going to start off with 20 characters.
Okay.
So, and I believe that was also leaked on the Steam page. And we also got a little bit
downloading this.
And we also got a little bit of the story from the State of Play through the motion comic that was presented there. So you kind of get a little bit of that. I mean, it's not a surprise that Wolverine was going to be in this, and a lot of people speculated it, but of course it was. Apparently also additional characters on the roster was leaked earlier this week. And that might have been through the same leak as the Steam page. I'm not sure, but I did not get wind of that leak until I saw the State of Play earlier today as we were recording. So still cool. We got a release date. We'll be definitely checking this out. I don't know if the Steam, actually I should check.
Yeah, it's like later. Yeah, it's like later in the summer. So August 6th, folks.
Oh yeah, actually I turned Steam off. So, but yeah, I mean, not a bad time for it to come out. It's not in the way of GTA, and I mean a little late for Evo, but I don't think it was going to happen for Evo anyway. So it'd probably be at the next one, I'm sure.
On my I'll download it through the PlayStation app on my phone.
Indeed. And I'm sure if there is any news of a physical release, we will definitely mention that when we get that info. But next up, we get into a little bit of more toy news, actually. Mondo X-Men 9716 scale Beast figure coming February 17th. So if you're watching the video version, and the pre-orders actually will be, like I said, will be coming Tuesday, February 17th at 12 p.m. at Mondo. Available for a limited time. This is a deluxe limited edition release, which is restricted to 1,500 units. So therein lies that. Also, there's a Comics Authority joke put in this article, which that's funny. But yeah, we don't necessarily get. Oh wait, yes we do. There we go. So if you're watching video version, you can see the figure, you know, all the accoutrement, including a Howard the Duck shirt. That's kind of funny. And of course, a bunch of faces and hands. And of course, it wouldn't be that era Beast without his glasses and books. So, cool. Now we just need, no, we do. I know I asked this question last week. We do have Leisure Suit Wonder Man, right?
Yes.
So I'm just saying, if you wanted to get this, you could, you know, in lieu of an actual Marvel Legends figure version of Beast, which, well, I guess we do have one, but
we do. Well, we have two, and
yes,
if you miss them, they are incredibly expensive on the secondary market. So, you know, we're hoping that they're going to put out X-Men '97 version. You know, it might be slightly more cartoonish, but it'll be available. Just jump on that pre-order because pre-orders come and go very fast.
And I'm sorry, folks. I'm just laughing because of the conversation we had prior to the show.
We're going to pick up on it with the next article.
Yes, we will. Which is
so. Marvel Legends Secret Wars Wave 2 figures, Daredevil, Magic, Constrictor, really? So, Wave 2 of Marvel Legends Secret Wars is already up for pre-order and already sold out for pre-order, including, you know, this wave features Daredevil, Magic in her new Mutants costume, Falcon in his red and white classic costume, Absorbing Man, especially if you missed the Build-A-Figure, if you didn't build the Build-A-Figure, the Constrictor, and Spidey reaching into basically catching him reaching into the machine that held the Venom symbiote that we didn't know was a Venom symbiote, was just a black costume. It's actually kind of a cool looking figure. I think the lead figures in this wave are definitely the old school Falcon, Magic, and the Daredevil. I missed out on the Daredevil, surprisingly, even because I eventually talked myself into getting it. And you know, listen, if you missed out on Absorbing Man before, have at it, man. Enjoy it because, you know, it's a fun figure to have. But yeah, you know, it's something I've got already in the Build-A-Figure form, so I'm good.
Yeah, all you need now is a volcano and a magma, and I mean, and a, you know, Molecule Man, but you know,
right, because we already have a Titania, so the Molecule Man is already out. There is already a Molecule Man Marvel Legends. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, that is right. I totally forgot about that. Regardless, yeah. So I'm just saying, you know, if you want to recreate some things along the lines of Secret Wars, there you go. If you're watching the video version, you can see said figures there, including the Daredevil figure that Agent 70 had, you know, had issues with.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, take a look at the Daredevil. The Daredevil is, you know, got the DD in black, which is just weird to me. I like the black outlines on his boots and his gloves. But the black belt, that's not classic Daredevil to me. So I honestly, you know, and what Roddykat and I were talking about in our pre-show production meeting is that, you know, I talked myself into this because this is an homage to the Secret Wars figure that was produced of Daredevil back in the day by Kenner, I think it was, right? Or is it Mattel?
Kenner.
I think it was Kenner.
Yes,
you know, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I believe it was Kenner because they were doing all the Marvel toys at the times. Yeah,
right. So the Kenner Daredevil, I believe, had this color scheme. I just don't ride with this. I don't. But I do kind of regret missing out on the pre-orders. So hopefully I can snag one at some point. Kind of annoyed. You know, I can't believe I talked myself into it.
I can. Going back a second, and if I did say this, and I'm totally blanking on this, but my apologies. But going back to the Marvel Token Fighting Souls thing, I did say that. If I didn't say, it was Wolverine, Magic, and Danger that was announced at the thing. Which, because the Magic reminded me that was the case, and I don't remember if I said it. So if I did say it, then
I was about to say I can pre-order the Daredevil just on a different website, folks. Not advertising them, but just on a different one.
Oh, sure. So yeah, that was who was announced at Marvel Tokens Souls at the State of Play today. So yeah,
who was? I'm sorry, I talked over you because I'm an idiot.
No, you're good. Wolverine, Storm. I mean, excuse me, Storm was already announced. Excuse me. Wolverine, Magic, and Danger.
Right.
Were the ones announced. Right. So yeah, and like I said, the Magic reminded me of that being the case. If I hadn't said it. Anyway, next up,
another Marvel Legend announcement.
Yes. Hasbro W's new Marvel Legends Maximum series Thor. If you're watching the video version, you can see it there. It is Armor Thor with another head and Throg and 2 hammers. Two extra faces and Throg as a minifigure. What is that horn? I'm assuming that's his mead. Presumably. So yeah, if you're watching the video version, you can see the figures there. The pre-orders open at February 25th at Hasbro Pulse at $455.99. It's a 6-inch Thor collectible, 3 swappable hands, 2 hairstyles, lightning effect, and of course, like I mentioned, a vinyl Throg minifigure. So
I might get this just for the Throg, to be perfectly honest.
I feel like you were probably going to get it either way, but
I mean, listen, I'm a Thor fan, so I get it. But at the same time, do I really need another Thor figure? Kind of. You know what I mean? I mean, I like the cloth, the soft goods cape. That's what they call it, and the cloth cape. I like that. And this is a good version of Thor. It's kind of cool to get a helmetless version, like that extra head that has no helmet. So I'm probably just going to end up getting this. When's the date of the pre-release pre-release?
Does it say
the pre-order?
Pre-order is February 25th.
Okay, so that's the end of the month.
Yeah,
right near the end of the month.
No release date yet, but I'm sure it's probably within the next 6 months or so. Well, it does say spring 2026 release is all they say here.
Right.
So there you go. I mean, it's a good looking figure, so I can't say I blame you. And of course,
right. I'm gonna jump on. I'm definitely gonna jump on this Daredevil because I was like, you know what? If I wait, something stupid's gonna happen. So, it's just the way it goes, right?
And with that, folks, we go to the next article, which is...
sorry, folks. Where are we? Okay, here we go. Upper Deck. Upper Deck updates Legendary Marvel Core Set as Legendary, a Marvel deck building games 2nd edition. Upper Deck has announced Legendary, a Marvel deck building game 2nd edition, an updated version of the 2013 core set releasing in 2026. Wow. The new set is being brought in line with the changes made to the game over the 12 years since the core set release, with rebalanced cards and an expanded selection, as well as an updated and revised rulebook. The card count has expanded from 500 to 550 cards, with 250 revised cards and 42 bystander cards. New additions include Dr. Octopus, the Sinister Syndicate, the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and 10, count them, 10 Shield Officer Specialists. Goodness gracious. Let's see here. Don't recognize the artists. I'm just looking for pricing. Nope, nothing there.
I think I want to say these usually run about 50, 60. Because I feel like I have one of the, I don't know if I have this particular not. I mean, I definitely don't have this particular second edition, but I'm trying to remember if I do have a Legendary, and I think if it's not the Marvel one, it's the DC one. I can't remember.
Got it.
So I will have to look in my place and see if that's the case. Because I do love me a good card game. Whether I play them or not, sadly. Next up, though, I guess speaking of card game adjacent stuff, Hasbro stock has hit 6-year highs. Company touts Harry Potter, K-pop Demon Hunters, Voltron toy deals. We had already talked about the K-pop Demon Hunters thing last week. Apparently, there's a Furby coming. And if you're watching the video version, you can see that. There's a K-pop Demon Hunters Monopoly. I believe we did talk about that one previously. But let's see. Yes, 7.5% jump from what we found out from the fourth quarter earnings, and according to this article, a rosy 2026 outlook. In its report on October to December financials and a conference call with Wall Street analysts, the toy maker touted recent licensing deals for the aforementioned licenses, and apparently Amazon MGM's Voltron movie, which I did not know that had been picked up with anywhere, because I definitely know that's been shopped around as well. Numbers, and more numbers. Hasbro made more money into all or one. So, you know, I don't need to necessarily go any, as the dude from Secret Galaxy would say. And speaking of, actually, I think I put yes, I did. If you go to the Kliqs bait section, you can see a link to a Secret Galaxy video highlighting the history of Marvel vs. Capcom, and according to the title of it, its many defeats, of which it was only 2. So if that is any interest to you, you can check that out in the show notes. Next up, though, you want me to do this one?
Sure.
Magic the Gathering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles token set is radical. So we already knew there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set coming from Magic the Gathering, as well as other properties. And we also know that I believe this set already had a discount on it before it even came out, which is still not out and nowhere near being out. But yes, this is just a look at the tokens for the Teenage Mutant Ninja set, which, if you don't know what tokens are in the realm of Magic the Gathering, they're basically, hey, if you need a figure that's just a regular 1/1 figure, or whatever the case may be, that you need to put on the board that may or may not get buffed or taken off or something of that, that's what these token cards are, and they just represent generic items that other cards can summon. If you're watching the video version, you can see the I guess there's a counter and there's some dice that looks like a play mat. I'm not sure if that's the case. And I guess this token, the tickets that looks like tokens. So yeah, I can just read it off here. Here we go. The token set is all you could ever want for your next video. It comes with a totally super 10. I guess that's what that was. A turtle power life counter, 5 spin down dice, 5 +1/+1 counters, 5 splinter treasure tokens, and 7 aluminum token cards. The 10 has an illustration of the 4 pizza loving heroes in action, and that is what this is right here at the top left if you're watching the video version, and the other stuff along with it. There's the box art included with Black April O'Neil, so and Bebop and Rocksteady, and the pricing for all of the boosters and whatnots and the commander decks for this upcoming sets. And apparently, yeah, Amazon is still doing a listing for a discount for the set that you can pre-order right now. And yeah, therein lies that. So if you are interested in that Turtles Magic the Gathering crossover, then you can go out there and go pre-order this stuff on Amazon, or go support your local game shop. There you go. You can also do that. Next up, though.
Next up, The Pokemon Company International announces a Super Bowl 60 commercial. So apparently this happened.
Yeah.
The spot illustrated a few major points for the Pokemon brand. The spot kicks off their year-long 30th anniversary for Pokemon.
I'm a bit too old for this.
The spot kicks off this campaign will commemorate the launch of the brand and its growing audience over the last 30 years. The commercial will also highlight the brand's mission of bringing fans together as a community through a love of Pokemon. As part of the 30th anniversary campaign, Pokemon, the trading card game, retailers can celebrate Pokemon Day on February 27th, 2026. The company has released a Pokemon Day 2026 collection for this event. They also released a teaser for the Super Bowl commercial. Okay. There's a schedule on the there's a release calendar that you can look up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were saying?
Nope. Pika Pika.
Oh.
Next
Pika
up.
Pika.
Last but not least, the official YOLO Park website has been updated with a gallery of official images and information on their new AMK Pro G1 Bumblebee. This new release of the AMK G1 Bumblebee mold, now under the AMK Pro line, which now means that Bumblebee features die-cast parts, LED light, premium finishing, and more accessories, including a spike with helmet, apparently. He comes with 3 interchangeable faces, 5 pairs of interchangeable hands, the aforementioned spike figure, gun, blast effect, Cliff Jumper's bazooka, because we are, if you know the history of that, hey, an Energon cube, and a display stand. It is up for pre-order right now at the YOLO Park website for $50 bones US. So estimated shipping time is 2026 Q2. So pretty soon, actually. If that is of any interest to you. And that, folks, is it. And you can also see, you can see images there if you're looking at the video version. So there you go. That Spike looks weird. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. Spike looks very, very weird. Also, Cliff Jumper's bazooka is probably in better hands given that first shot he tried to make in that first episode, or second episode. But anyway... it might have been the first episode. Regardless, that isn't for the news section. Can we get one last ad read?
Our last ad read tonight is for Amazon. Keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Now, if you shop at Amazon often, bookmark the link or add it as your homepage so that you can help the CSPN each time you order. We thank you for your support. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today.
All right, folks, that's it. Hey, we're out of here for this particular week. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming forth for next week, but I don't remember anything outside of our normal book stuff. So hey, you'll know when we know. But with that, I have been Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at News Nerds on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. You can find this here podcast on the Cold Slither Podcast Network, the CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network. And you can also find us recording every Thursday night, 9:30, probably more closer to 10 o'clock, let's be honest, on Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/TheKliqNation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, hit that follow, like, and notify button wherever you can. Smash them all. Go to town.
Indeed. It's a lot to say in one breath, but you know what? We get through it. Hopefully, the list is still out there, folks, and we are going to get some more Twitch streams in, especially the closer it gets to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, but just in general, because there is stuff out there that needs to be chronicled from the video game world, and that is comic book related. I'm just going to say that. There's no shortage of comic book related video games, including the ones that are coming out this year. So, stay tuned for that. We'll get on that when we can. But until then and until next week, this has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Peace. One.
Would you believe it's Dr. Doom?
What's on your